Eli5 on why do planets spin? So imagine two particles drawn toward the center of mass of a cloud. It's very unlikely they are perfectly aligned to strike each other. So they speed up as they approach, but miss each other and pass. Now they are bent back toward the center by gravity, and again approach, but miss again. Soon they are circling. Billions of iterations of this means that the cloud is eventually rotating, the direction of rotation being the sum of billions of these tiny interactions, because it is more likely that they will spin than they won't spin. That's it, just statistics. Think of pouring milk into coffee, it makes those swirl patterns. Is it possible that you could pour the milk in perfectly straight so that every molecule of milk hits every molecule of coffee perfectly dead on? I guess. But it's way more likely that milk molecules will hit coffee molecules off-center, with like a glancing blow, causing them to spin. If you throw a bunch of stuff together randomly, then it is very unlikely to end up with exactly zero rotation. Initially the average rotation will be slow, but as the stuff collapses and forms smaller objects like stars and planets, the rotation rate increases. You can see the same effect with ice dancers, or if you have a rotating chair, spin with extended arms and then pull in your arms. Imagine two people skating in from opposite directions, with the goal of safely grabbing each other. If they hit straight on, they'll get hurt. If they slightly pass each other and grab hands, they spin together instead. The same thing happens in space. Rocks that smack head on vaporize, while those that hit a glancing blow or near miss get pulled together by gravity, and end up spinning. When everything was a dust cloud, as it condensed into a planet, it acts like water going down a drain, and that it naturally starts to spin. This keeps going as the planet forms and the planet keeps spinning. If there wasn't a larger body like the sun, we have the least can just collect and doesn't always cause a spin, so because we formed around a star we spin. Massive objects in space creates a gravitational force that affects other large space objects and pulls it towards itself, but since the other objects it attracts towards itself already have their own speed, instead of being directly affected by this gravitational force, it sits in the orbit of that massive object and starts to rotate. Imagine you had two balls, tied to one another with a string. Throw those two balls. If one ball is slightly faster than the other, it'll pull the string taut, and the balls will start to spin around one another. Now imagine you had 1,000,000 balls, all tied together. That's the planets. For a 2D example, try tossing a coin onto a flat surface without it wobbling or spinning at all. That is similar to what happened in 3D, lots of random movement means it's unlikely for things to be perfectly balanced, and lack of balance often results in some form of spin. In a complete vacuum with minimal or zero gravity influence, the real question would be, how could a celestial body not spin? An object in motion stays in motion unless outside factors prevent the motion. In space, there are zero or minimal outside factors. The sun rotates. So the centrifugal force creates the solar system. The sun also moves forward. So the solar system moves forward with the sun while maintaining the solar system structure. There is an amazing animation on the net to show this. Planets spin because when they are created, they are made from stuff that is moving in a circle. As this stuff comes together, its spinning makes the planet spin too. This spinning continues unless something else stops it. Spinning helps to stabilize their orbits. Chunks of matter that were in orbit but not spinning didn't maintain lasting orbits and either collided with each other or were absorbed by the sun or the planets. My intro to astronomy professor told us that if we ever have any question, wonder about why something happens in space, the best guess that usually ends up being correct in some way is gravity. Galaxies were created from matter coming from all directions, which caused them to spin. This spinning matter created the stars and planets. Spinning matter spinning planets. Mercury doesn't spin. Neither does the moon. I don't know why. And I'm too lazy to look it up. I'll come back after my nap, and hope someone replied with an explanation. Stuff moves perpetually in the vacuum of space. You're underestimating that planets move so slowly that it takes literally all day for them to spin once. Because there's only one way to be still and a billion ways to spin. So the chance of not spinning is 1 out of billions. So everything in the universe spins. Because stop was never the default state of matter, and spinning planet is just the result of matter being in their natural state. Big boom make rocks spin. The giant toilet bowl that is a galaxy flushes everything towards the center and keeps them spinning. Conservation of angular momentum in a near frictionless environment. Planets started out as swirling clouds of dust. Conservation of angular momentum inherited from the spinning sun.